Hello and namaste to all of you. This is JVN Shadu Singh from Department of Physiotherapy and Diagnosis from Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. For today's topic, I'll be discussing with you about chemical examination of stool. Human feces is called as stool. Feces is a plural Latin term from which came from the word feces, and it means residue. So it is the waste residue of indigestible materials of animals' digestive tract expelled through the anus during defecation. Now, meconium is newborn's first feces, and scatology or caprology is the study of feces. Now, 3/4 of water and 1/4 of solid is present. Our basically human feces is composed of 3/4 of water and 1/4 of solid, and undigested. It is undigested and unabsorbed from food, and intestinal consist of various intestinal secretions, mucus, bile pigments, and bile salts, decomposed products, bacteria, and inorganic materials. It also consists of some epithelial cells, and leukocytes. Now, uh, there are various precautions which are needed to be taken during the collection of your stool. So patient should avoid following things for at least 48 hours before the collection of stool. He should avoid mineral oils, bismuth, non-absorbable antidiarrheal drugs, anti-malarial drugs, antibiotics, etc. Patient should have a barium swallow examination before stool routine examination. He or she should avoid iron containing drugs, meat, fish, etc. For at least 48 hours. So before stool, for occult blood examination, in constipated patients, they should use only non-residual purgatives. Now, for collection, universal precautions which need to be taken are as follows. So patient is asked to pass stools in a clean container. Stool should be collected in a sterilized wide mouth container, and loose last portion containing mucus, blood, etc. is to be collected with a wide mouth bottle. It should be uncontaminated with urine or any other body secretions. And per 2 gram, more than 2 gram is required for the examination of stool. So, and it should be properly named. Always a fresh sample should be tested, and liquid stool needs to be examined within half an hour, and stool should be examined within 1 hour. And if it should be stored in refrigerator. Now, now for stool examinations, properly named and always fresh sample should be tested. So liquid stool to be examined has to be examined within half an hour, and solid stool it has to be examined within 1 hour. So if there is any delay, the person should store the stool sample in refrigerator. Now, three sample three samples of stools are to be collected within 10 days to exclude any false negatives results, and two samples are to be examined on alternate days for normal defecation, and one sample after a purgative for certain worms. Now, formalin is the best preservative. It kills the bacteria but preserves the protozoa and helminthes. And for culture, no preservatives are to be used. Now, nextly, there is physical exam. There are three types of examination, four types of examination basically: physical examination, chemical examination, microscopic examination, and stool culture. So, for physical examination, color, volume, consistency, odor, mucus, pus, concretions, helminthes, they all are seen through your naked eyes. Now, for chemical examination, reactions, occult blood, fat, carbohydrate, proteins, etc., are examined. Now, For microscopic examination, the remnants so microscopic examinations will include remnants of food, pus cells, macrophages, RBCs, crystals, bacteria, yeast, mold, protozoa, and helminths. And lastly is your culture, in which to check for various bacteria and pathogens present in your stool. Now, the physical exam for physical examination, as I told, that we check for amount, yeah, the consistency, what is the consistency of the stool, what is the color, what is the odor, what are the various reactions, presence of mucus, presence of concretion, presence of blood, uh, presence for the presence of pus, or for presence of any food remnant or undigested tablets present in your urine. So basically the all the stuff that we can check by eyes. Now for macroscopic examination, uh, the normal amount of you stool is your 150 to so normal amount is 150 grams to 200 grams per day, and it is increased in case of steatorrhea, diarrhea, indigestion of carbohydrates. Now, for the consistency is of your stool is basically normal, and is soft, but it is formed. So for excessively hard or scibilla, it can be due to the case of habitual constipation. If it's flattened or ribbon like, it is due to intake of excess of mineral oil, carcinoma of rectum, stricture of rectum. And if it's soft, mushy, liquid, voluminous, then it can be due to diarrhea or intake of purgatives. And if it is small, numerous, and largely mucus and blood with small amount of stool, then it can be your case of dysentery. And if it's rice, watery, or without fecal matter, then it is basically the case of cholera. Now, there are various types of stool, which is given by Bristol as Bristol stool chart. So for type 1, there can be separate large lumps like nuts, which can be hard to pass. For type 2, it can be sausage shape or lumpy. For type 3, it can be like a sausage but with cracks on the surface. For type 4, it can be sausage or snake like, with smooth and soft. Type 5 can be soft blobs with clear cut edges. Type 6 can be fluffy pieces with ragged edges and mushy stool. And type 7 can be watery and no stool pieces, and entirely liquidy. So the color of your stool will basically tells uh, about a lot of stuff. So if it's dark gray, so it can be due to excessive cocoa or chocolate ingestion. If it's reddish or blackish brown, it can be due to large amount of fruits. If it's green, it can be due to ingestion of green leafy vegetables and administration of calomel due to biliverdin. If it's red, it can be due to beet ingestion, fresh blood. Now, if it's yellow, it can be rhubarb or senna ingestion or a normal stool. Now, for next, if it's the case of clay colored stool, then it can be due to obstructive jaundice, due to ingestion of barium metal, or x-rays. Or if it's terry black color, it can be due to hemorrhage in stomach or upper intestine. If it's dark brown or bright red color, it can be due to bleeding in your rectum or sigmoid colon. If it's red streaks of blood on the surface of pieces, then it can be due to hemorrhoids, fissures, or carcinoma, or ulcerative colitis. So that was all about the color of color of your pieces, and what a particular color of pieces indicate, or what kind of disorder or disbalance it is trying to indicate. Now, order of stool is also indicative of various disbalances. So, if not a normal order is basically aromatic due to presence of indole and scatole in your feces, and if it's in this aroma, if it's increased, then it can be due to excessive protein ingestion. If it's sour or rancid, then it can be due to fatty acid in milk indigestion, and in which can be in children and in adults, and which is normal in case of your infants. If it's putrid, then severe diarrhea of malignancy or gangrenous dysentery can be indicative of it. Now, uh, various reactions which are shown. If it is normal, is normal pH is neutral. So pH varies from normal pH varies from 6.9 to 7.2. So the pH is dependent on bacterial fermentation and putrefaction in the bowel. So if it's alkaline, if pH is alkaline, it can be due to excessive protein ingestion. If it is acidic, it can be due to your carbohydrate ingestion. Now, nextly, your presence of mucus is small in small quantity is normal. So small quantity, if it's a small quantity, the feces are from your small guts, and excessive quantity and ingestion of intestine, and entirely mucus with little or no feces, and streaks of blood and dysentery, ileocolitis, and intersection. Now, nextly, in case of presence of concretion in infants, there is whitish curds may be found. So, or in case of gallbladder stones, so gallbladder stones can be rarely found. Sometimes gallbladder stones, when medicines are given, they are excreted out in your stool. So these are the concretions which can be found in on your fecal examination. And presence of blood is always an indicative of hemorrhage. So which is blood is always absent in your normal feces, so formed stools with streaks of blood and lesions in sigmoid colon and rectum or your anal canal, and a liquid, if there is liquid stool with bright red color, pus and mucus, then it can be a case of bacillary dysentery or ulcerative colitis. And if it's a semi-formed stool with deep terry black blood present, then it can be a case of melena. And if a loose stool with deep cherry red blood color, then it can also be the case of a melena. Now, next examination or can be for your pus. So pus is also normally absent in your stool. So pus with blooded mucus or ulcerative colitis or bacillary dysentery or ulcerative carcinoma can be present. In case of ulcerative carcinoma, it can be present. So nextly, there can be gross food remnants which can be found in a normal stool also, and undigested tablets can also be found in your normal stool. Now, nextly, there is apart from physical examination, there is chemical examination of stool. So in chemical examination, we check for acidity, your basicity, fats, nitrogen, stercobilinogen, coproporphyrin, occult blood, or reducing substances. So most commonly used chemical examination of stool is known as occult blood and occult blood examination, and for reducing substances. So for fats, normally up to 20% of total solids and liquids are measured at fatty acids. So 2 to 5 grams per 24 hours. And known dietary intake and time stool collection has to be done. And your patient has to take a diet containing 100 grams of fat daily, and 3 days stool collection is taken. More than 6 grams per day presence of more than 6 gram per day is considered as abnormal. And quantitative or semi-quantitative, there are methods are adopted for the examination of fats. So first method can be a gravimetric method, second can be your isotopic techniques or radioisotopes. Nextly, there can be electrical capacitance method. Next can be your titrimetric method or Van de Kamar method. Now, for further methods of stool and chemical examination of stool, I'll be going through in your next lecture. Until then, if you have any doubts regarding the physical examination of stool, you can talk to me and contact me. And until then, take care and goodbye.